Okay. All right. Welcome to the Planning Commission meeting, August 13th, City of Eureka. Let's start with roll call.
Commissioner Freitas?
Here.
Commissioner Kraft?
Here.
Commissioner Lazar?
Here.
And where did we go? Commissioner Benson is absent, and Commissioner Meyer is absent.
Okay. Commissioner Lazar, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Item C is approval of the minutes. Has somebody read them enough to move to approve them or change them?
I reviewed them. They looked good to me.
All right. I'll call that a first.
Oh, can you hear me now? Yeah. I'll speak a little closer. Yeah, I looked at them and they look fine, so I would move we approve.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. We'll now move to oral communications. This is the opportunity for anybody on Zoom or in the chambers to speak on something that is not on the agenda tonight. Is anybody wanting to take advantage of that? Seeing none, we'll move on to item F, new public hearings, and the lovely Hendricks commercial lodging project.
This is going to be Assistant Planner Alex Gonzalez presenting.
Hi, good evening, Commissioners. I'm Assistant Planner Gonzalez, and I'll be presenting the lovely Hendricks Commercial Lodging use permit at 615 Rest Street. Here's an overview of the project location. The project is centrally located in the inland portion of the city. Zooming in, the 1,742 square foot property outlined in yellow is located on the northeastern corner of G and Rest Streets. It includes a 951 square foot 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom residence, a garage, I don't have the square footage of the garage, but it includes an attached garage that will be used as parking, and it's circled here in blue. Here we can see the zoning districts in the vicinity. The property shown here by the red star is located in the office residential district and borders the R1 district to the east and south, with Henderson Center 1 block to the west. Short-term rentals less than 30 days are considered commercial lodging in mixed-use zoning districts, which requires a conditional use permit in the OR district. It should be noted that this type of use, if in a residential district, would have been considered a vacation rental, but since it's in an OR district, it's classified as a commercial lodging. Conditions of approval placed on this project include that once the commercial lodging is operating, the applicant shall remit past due transit occupancy taxes. Furthermore, the applicant shall remit transit occupancy tax for each day of 30 consecutive calendar days or less to the City of Eureka. There shall be a designated bicycle parking space in an area where the bicycle can be secured indoors, such as a garage or with a lock, and it must be available and remain in place for the duration of the commercial lodging use. Trash and recycling cans must be stored in an area that is screened from nearby residences, such as being located in the garage or behind a fence for the duration of the commercial lodging use as well. And the residence must be inspected to residential standards by a Development Services building prior to operating. The applicant shall obtain any necessary building permits and follow-up inspections required by the building department. To approve the conditional use, there are 5 required findings for approval. That 1, the proposed use is consistent with the general plan and zoning code. 2, the site is suitable for the size, design, and operating characteristics of the proposed use. 3, the proposed use will be compatible with existing and planned land uses in the vicinity of the property. 4, the proposed use will not be detrimental to public health and safety and welfare. And 5, the proposed use is properly located within the city and adequately served by existing or planned services and infrastructure. So staff believe all the required findings to approve the conditional use permit can be made and are included in the staff report. And for these reasons, the recommendation is to hold a public hearing and adopt a resolution finding the project exempt from CEQA and conditionally approving the application. I have a suggested motion when you're ready, but we'll stop screen sharing until then. Staff is available. I don't see the applicant, but I'm here if you have any questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Short and sweet. What questions do you two have for staff?
I think you said in your presentation something about past due transient occupancy. Was this in operation before submitting the application for the permit?
It was, yeah.
Okay. How long was it in operation?
I don't know the exact dates. Raylene, can you chime in on that?
It was not in operation when they applied, which I think was just 90 days ago or close to that. It was not in operation then, so they have started operating at some point in between. I just caught it when I started doing the numbers for the next round of operators.
So so they came in of their own volition to apply? It wasn't part of the compliance drive or anything? Okay.
No, they were not part of the compliance drive.
Yeah, we actually had this on the agenda, or we were going to put it on the agenda for last month, and then something got messed up with the noticing, so it never got noticed. So we were always planning on last month. So maybe I mean, that I just wanted to let you know about that. I don't know if that affected their decision to do that, but
I guess I'm partly curious because I work in Henderson Center and walk by this fairly frequently, and I've never seen any evidence of it being one, but that's probably good if it had been in operation because it's probably a good fit. So that's the only question I had.
Nothing from Commissioner Freitas. It's a cute little house. I love the visuals on it. Curiosity question, not specifically related to this. Is the first TNTOT transit, or is it a longer word? Transient. Okay. Had a little asterisk that I was hung up on that. All right. So with no more questions for staff, I will open it for public comment. You have up to 3 minutes. If this is an agenda item you want to speak on, if you're on Zoom, raise your hand. If you're in the audience, please step forward. All right, seeing none on that, I'll close public hearing and move on to a second, any further discussion and a vote.
I guess this just triggered a question for me, which is typically when there's been a request for a hearing, there's an interested party who wants us to review something. I'm curious why nobody is coming forward.
yeah. So this is different than a vacation rental. Vacation rentals are short-term rentals less than 30 days in residential zoning districts are called vacation rentals, and then short-term less than 30 days in mixed-use zoning districts are called commercial lodging. So, I mean, essentially, this is a vacation rental, but because it's in a mixed-use zoning district, we call it a commercial lodging use. So it isn't subject to all the standards that are already in the vacation rental regulations for the residential zones. But I know we're going to change that in the future.
The draft regulations that I presented to you a while back when I was giving an update on the vacation rental compliance, we're going back to if it's taking a residence, like a residential occupancy, and turning it into a short-term rental, regardless of zoning district, it'll be a vacation rental. And if, we're gonna get rid of this where you're just anything in a mixed use is considered commercial lodging, even if it's in a house, because it's silly to treat a house in the Wabash district different than a house in the R1 district that's directly next to it, and call one commercial lodging and one a vacation rental.
And then to clarify, so the vacation rentals only require a minor use permit. So that's why some of them can get approved. We send out a notice of pending action, and then if no one requests a hearing, it's approved.
And actually, commercial lodging is principally permitted in most of the mixed-use districts. The only mixed-use districts where you have to get a conditional use permit are the office residential and the hospital medical districts.
Okay, that makes more sense. So this is just the typical process for review. There's been no request for stepping it up to an additional hearing body.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I guess I'm ready to make a motion whenever anybody else is. Maybe I'll make it and then we can discuss it. Okay, great. Could you bring up the motion, please? I move the Planning Commission adopt a resolution finding the project is exempt from CEQA and conditionally approving the conditional use permit for the lovely Hendricks commercial lodging at 615 Russ Street.
And I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any additional discussion?
I guess I'd just say that it looks like a good fit for the neighborhood and in these mixed use settings, especially where you have a lot of residential homes still intact. It's particularly, I think, a good transition from purely residential to on the way to commercial, because you have to begin to start getting inspected and up to certain standards, even if it's not the full building code or ADA or anything. So I think it's useful to see that transition begin with this type of scenario. So I'm supportive.
I would agree with that. I think we can just do a voice vote on this. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you for that. Item F2, general plan conformance review for the county acquisition of 515 J Street.
And this will be presented by Assistant Planner Henry Baker.
All right. Good evening, Commissioners. Assistant Planner Henry Baker, presenting for your consideration the General Plan Conformance Review for Humboldt County's acquisition of 515 J Street. Here's the property within the context of city limits, shown here in yellow. Zooming in, we can see 515 J Street, outlined again in yellow, is located in the downtown area, about 1 block south of the county courthouse and 1 block west of City Hall. The property is not a historic property, and there is a 2-story building on site outlined here in red. The first floor is the Office of the Conflicts Counsel, and a specific use has not yet been identified for the second floor, but it will be used for other county programs. Per state law, before purchasing property within city limits, the county must request a general plan consistency report describing the acquisition's consistency with the city's adopted general plan, after which the planning agency has 40 days to provide a determination. A request was received on July 28th, and the deadline for action is September 6th, which is before the next meeting. General plan conformance review does not constitute a discretionary action to approve, modify, or deny a project. Therefore, the action does not require a public hearing and does not require a finding in regard to CEQA. Staff has completed a review of the city's adopted 2040 general plan and goals and policies and found that the acquisition substantially conforms. The acquisition meets the downtown commercial land use designation. While there are some inconsistencies with the acquisition and the general plan's goals and policies, specifically regarding corner parking lots and the city's limited authority over county-owned properties, staff believes these inconsistencies do not outweigh the overall alignment with the general plan policies focused on densification and densification and consolidation of essential services in the downtown. Full analysis is provided in the staff report. Based upon the findings and analysis demonstrated within the staff report, staff believes the proposed acquisition may be found substantially consistent. Therefore, staff's recommendation is to receive the staff's report and adopt a resolution finding the county's acquisition of 515 J Street substantially conforms with the city's 2040 general plan. I have a suggested motion when you're ready, and myself and the applicant are here to answer any questions you have.
So I'll chime in with a couple things to start. This is useful to know, I had a communication with Director Kenyon about this property. There was a civil grand jury report that said the County Conflict Council and the public defenders were covered in the report, and it said one of them has facilities that are quite nice, and the other one has facilities that are really pretty dismal. And I had trouble in my own brain knowing which was which. So this is the nicer facility. It's been a law firm historically, and really well suited, half a block from the courthouse for what it's up to. So those are a couple of things that I tried to unpack as I was preparing for this meeting. Director Kenyon, given that we aren't taking, that's not a public hearing, do we still take testimony?
You can, yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll offer people the opportunity then when that time would logically come. Fellow commissioners, what, if any, questions do you have for staff?
I guess I was just curious. It's the submittal, the information that was attached to the staff report was referencing, or the applicant's supplied information references the facilities master plan, and I didn't see that attached. Did they provide that at all to us?
No, that was not part of the application package. The city, or the county, excuse me, has not identified a use for the second story as of yet, but that would be probably a better question for the applicant.
Yeah, because I looked at the one that I could find online. I think it was a 2020 edition, to see if there was any thing about the site, and I might have overlooked it. Okay, that's my question.
I think they've only been operating at the site for about a year. I think they moved in 2024.
And I guess I only asked because, we're not doing CEQA per se for this, right? But a general principle is to kind of look at the whole of what's anticipated at the time something comes before a body for some type of decision, I guess, and or determination in this case. And so that's why it just sounds like the only thing we know is that they use it currently and plan to continue to use it and don't have any immediate plans to remove any of the buildings or redevelop the site. Is that kind of what we believe to be the case?
Yes, that's correct.
They just want to acquire ownership. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and if they were to redevelop the site, we would want them to come back, and they would need to do it again because that code section requires for new buildings as well. And then we would be looking at CEQA more.
Makes sense.
I don't know if our action would trigger CEQA regardless. They would be thinking about CEQA, yeah. Just because you can't be responsible for CEQA if you don't have the power to change the project.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of hesitant to use the comparison, but it is useful just to know what's sort of anticipated as best we can. So, but I think this is our last bite at the apple, right? This will be conveyed, and then it'll be kind of immune from our oversight largely at that point for any redevelopment. Okay.
Commissioner Freitas, did you have anything?
No, I don't think so. Thank you.
I don't have any questions. So although we're not doing a public hearing formally, if the applicant or anybody else does want to speak on this, feel free to raise your hand or come forward, and we'll do the 3-minute thing anyway.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Kirsty Green. I'm the Senior Real Property Agent with Humboldt County. And you had a question on the second story. Right now, it's not accessible. So once we do acquire the property and we finalize it and close it, we will be adding a lift, which there is office space up there. It's about 2,000 square feet. So with that, we will look at our programs to see who can move into that space. So right now, we can't have any offices up there, but that will be in the near future, hopefully. Hopefully that answers your question on the
Any questions while we've got her stuck right there to the mic?
Is it true that it's only recently come into use in the last year or two?
Yes, we did have to do ADA work before Conflict Council was able to move in, so yes.
And it's not, is it targeted in the current facilities master plan for the county, or is that kind of?
I don't I don't know that one.
Because it didn't seem like it was in it. Do you know how often they get done? Because the last one I saw online was 2020.
Yeah, 2020 is our most recent facilities master
So
plan.
that
we're
would
still
probably
going with.
explain it then.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Appreciate it.
Kirsty Green. Yes.
Anybody else like to speak on this? All right. I'll close whatever that was and bring it back to the commission for a motion and more discussion, perhaps. Would you bring up the motion, please?
This is a very tame meeting.
So tame.
Feeling really good about it. Feeling really relaxed. Does anyone else want to make a motion?
It looks like you got the
Okay.
mic.
I move the Planning Commission adopt a resolution finding Humboldt County's acquisition of 515 J Street substantially conforms with the city's 2040 general plan.
I'll second the motion.
All right. Again, due to the tameness of the meeting, let's just do a voice vote on this one. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. That closes our two obvious pieces of business. Director Kenyon, do you have anything else queued up for us? Any announcements, those sorts of things?
I am working hard on the local coastal program update. We got a letter of inquiry from HCD actually about our housing element, about like their top priority implementation measures in our housing element, and one of them is the local coastal program update. So I had to give them a very detailed schedule of when I was going to get it done. It's so funny that in the end it's like the housing element pressure that is leading to the work. So the goal is to get it done by February, and so I should have brought a piece of it to you tonight, but since it was such a low so I will attempt to strategically do that moving forward so that you can see pieces of it before the whole thing comes before you, ideally at the end of this year.
Okay.
And the other thing I'm working on with our consultant, Ben Noble, is updating our design standards and making discretionary design reviews something that you only have to do if you can't meet the objective standards. And so I want to bring, part of it is strengthening the objective standards. So I want to bring it to as many people who have to deal with our standards as possible, including you all, to just make sure there's nothing in there that's a bad move that's gonna or if there's other things we should be putting in there if we're not having discretionary design review. And then the third thing is that we're already getting our regional housing needs allocation numbers for the next housing element cycle. And HCOG, the Humboldt County Association of Governments, is working on allocating them to the different jurisdictions. And they look like they're going to be twice as many as this round or more. So I'm a little bit in panic mode about how to accommodate those, how to demonstrate compliance, that I have room to accommodate those units in a way that HCD is going to accept, or find new implementation measures that we haven't already done that will compensate for not having adequate sites. And I am going to the city council to present on the regional housing needs allocation maybe in September. So I can always bring that presentation to you all too, if you're interested. One thing that we are really concerned about is our current general plan environmental impact report only anticipated 1,800 new residential units by 2040. And it looks like our RENA for this next 8 years is going to be that number. So we don't have, I'm worried our EIR isn't going to cover, we can't, last time we just said, hey, this is an addendum to our EIR, but this time we might have to open up this giant environmental document to analyze additional growth. And so, but that could also present an opportunity to rethink things in our general plan, like maximum densities in certain districts. So it's a lot to think about headed towards us.
I find this both a little triggering and odd. So if you had asked me, absent any other knowledge, would I have expected higher numbers in the last round or this one? I would have said the last round, because the state was growing, and they really didn't listen to us when we said, are you sure some of these numbers aren't a little low because of climate refugees and that kind of thing? And they said, we don't think about that. So are they thinking about that kind of thing now?
No.
Do you have any idea where where the
Yes.
higher numbers are
So
generating from?
when we had that CERC meeting and the Department of Finance came and said, we're shrinking, that is still that our population, the number of our population was, yeah, you guys are going to shrink. We didn't get, if you just looked at that, we wouldn't have gotten much of arena at all. But then after Department of Finance gives HCD that number, HCD does adjustments for certain things. And they compare the cities or the region's percent cost burdened. So the number of households that are the percent of households that are cost burdened, and then the vacancy rate. And in the last cycle, they compared those to, I think, the state average, and then they adjusted based on that. And in this cycle, the 7th cycle, they're comparing it to the national average.
Okay.
And so our numbers are bad compared to the national average. And so they gave us huge adjustments. That is most of our arena is coming from those adjustments.
Well, and that's going to be an issue statewide, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, but the problem is we're the first region that gets numbers, and like we're the first. Other regions are just finishing their 6th cycle adoption, and we're the canary in the coal mine for the 7th cycle. So I think everybody's going to be surprised to hear that we're getting double the numbers in a region of the state that is the Department of Finance thinks is shrinking. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one that finds it odd.
I'm sorry, I did think of something. On the September 10th Planning Commission meeting, we are bringing forward the Humboldt Transit Authority's hydrogen fueling station coastal development permit. So fingers crossed, we really need a quorum because they really need to get this discretionary permit prior to the end of September for their funding. So it does have a CEQA document associated with it, an initial study, and it's been a huge push that we've been working on the last 2 months with them. So yes, I hope you can clear your calendars and make sure you're here for the September 10th, the next Planning Commission meeting.
We're also going to have another general plan conformance review for Humboldt County Office of Education. They're trying to purchase the CVS property.
Okay.
And
right,
we
and
probably have some other stuff, but I don't remember at this point.
And September 10th is our normally scheduled time, right? Okay. All right. Anything good else for the good of the order? All right. I get to wield the gavel once. We're adjourned.